Prince Justice Faloye, the President of African Sociocultural Harmony and Enlightenment Foundation. It's also called Ashe Foundation. Ashe Foundation is a cultural think tank. The OonI of Ife is the chairman, and the trustees include the Obi of Onitsha, the Attah of Igala, Akuka of Ukari.
What Ashe Foundation is doing, I'm very impressed with them. Very dogged, very focused, and purpose-driven. What they're doing, I would support what they're doing all the way. I like the initiative, and this is another means for our heritage not to be destroyed. This is another means for us to know what binds us together and what destroys us. What binds Yorubas, the Igalas, the Nupes, what binds all of us together. So I'm very happy and impressed with Ashe Foundation.
That organization is the beginning of good things to happen to us. And I'm happy OonI is at the pinnacle of that organization. And it must succeed.
66 million years ago, a meteorite crashed into Earth, killing dinosaurs and most life, quickening the breakup of the supercontinent Pangaea. The new formation of continents with the Atlantic Ocean flowing between Africa and Europe on one side and the Americas on the other resulted in new wind systems that dumped the heaviest rains on the West African sub-region, making it the most fertile area for evolution. With rivers Niger, Benue, Kaduna, Sokoto, and many others emptying their waters ultimately in southern Nigeria, creating the largest continental mangrove and freshwater swamps where man evolved. In a study of 3,945 DNA samples, differentiated with 1,327 genotype markers, 14 probable ancestral clusters were created. A close analysis shows that the DNA values fell as you moved away from Yoruba land in southern Nigeria. Over millions of years, various humanoid species had spread from Africa across the world, as different new species set out to colonize the world, replacing previous migrants. From DNA evidence, the modern man evolved around 120,000 years ago as pygmies of southern Nigerian rainforests, the yam belt. Surviving by picking wild yams, the hunter-gatherers led human dispersal across Africa and Eurasia through the Ethiopia land bridge. Due to the Indonesian super-eruption around 75,000 years ago that blocked sun rays and killed previous migrants around 60,000 years ago, Simon's Genome Diversity Project stated that the San Pygmies diverged from Yorubas 87,000 years ago, while Mbuti Pygmies diverged about 56,000 years ago. Yoruba defines the L group. As new migrants from Yoruba land set out once again to colonize the world through Ethiopia into Arabia in what is known as the Great Coastal Migration,
it has been decided that we should research and articulate original African culture, where we're from, and what we do. The objective is we will marry or test all the various mythologies and see which one works very well with science. We have DNA results from the Human Genome Project, Harvard Simmons Diversity Project, and so many other projects who have now come to authenticate what linguists have said all along, that African language evolved around Nigeria. You have two families. I mean, you have one single family called the Niger-Congo family. This Niger-Congo family is divided into two. You have the Volta Niger, which is the oldest group. Then you have the Benue Congo, which is the beginning or the prototype of what they call the Bantu languages that spread to South Africa, East Africa, and Central Africa. And with DNA evidence and linguistics, we can see how man evolved and then into Cameroon, go down the Shanghai River, through Gabon, into Congo, then up Ubagi River to central, to the Rift Valley, where they became the Mashariki Bantus, and then split across East and South Africa. So we know all this. We know perfectly how we're related. That from South Africa to Nigeria, we have the same cultural foundations. And nobody's going to tell our story unless we do. And that was why all the monarchs came together and said, let's have a body, an institution that can articulate and unify the black race in order for us to rise economically and socially. Ashe Foundation has various programs, especially its key public awareness campaign to enlighten and empower over 100 million Africans at this point in time. And this is very imperative. We already have xenophobic attacks. We have problems between Yoruba and Igbo, between South Africans and other Africans. And all this is due to the lack of a global original African identity and culture. Who are we? How are we related? What is the linkages? And it's only then, and if we don't do it, we might see wars and anarchy and ethnic cleansing, killing hundreds of millions of our youth. We have the fastest growing youth in the world, and we have to educate them. If you do not educate a child of where he comes from, what values he stands for, then you will have a problem. Our kids just learn now from social media, from anywhere. This is why, and they have risen to this duty to educate the youth of who they are. From DNA evidence, genetics, and other studies, we know fully that we are all one people. It's been said all along that the Niger-Congo ethno-linguistic family is the oldest and is the continuum of dialects. The same people we are, same culture. And as I've shown, the only thing that shows the identity of Yorubas and Igbos and Igala is that knowledge bank called Ifa. Some people have turned it into religion because even before, the 18th, 19th century, the Europeans and other cultures explain things in spiritual terms and connotations. But Africa, due to slavery and colonization, we have not been able to move our thought, our knowledge bank, and to make concrete analysis of what they are. Unfortunately, our history and our identity has been dictated by Western and Islamic sources. We need to hear from the horse's mouth, from the OonI of Ife, from the Obi of Onitsha, from the Attah of Igala, from the Akuka of Jukun, the Ichidoma of Otukpo. These are the oldest original African groups, the oldest Niger-Congo ethno-linguistic groups, the source of our language, the source of our humanity, the source of our culture. Now, all these different monarchs that now speak different dialects, which many times you cannot understand from each other, have now come together and realized that the black race will not rise and assume parity with the world, with other races, until it could culturally articulate who it is. And the only people who can do this, the only people who can supply us and who will be listened to by majority are the monarchs. So this is why Ashe Foundation was brought together, and we had a conference in February 2018 called the Conference on African Origins. As you will see, Ifa is spread throughout Africa, from Yoruba land. You have the Yorubas, have Ifa, you have the Igbos, the Igalas, and it's all the same system. This is or was the beginning of information of advanced social organization. Ifa comprises religion, it comprises science, philosophy, and all forms of knowledge.
The Yoruba people, by virtue of our project and others that came along with them, they were one big happy family. And who was there that experienced everything when they were struggling for supremacy in the divinity world? It was OonI, and that's Ifa. A lot of people call it different names, Ifa, Afa. Across the entire dwellers of which is tropical Africa. I'd like to call the tropical Africa, the tropical section of Africa. That is indeed Igbo. But the center spread, the epicenter of it is mostly Western Africa and Central Africa. The truth be told, everything is inside the faculties. The story of all of us, the story of the Igbos, the story of everybody, Yorubas, the story of the Fulani, the Awusas, the Jokuns, the Ga, the Mumbuti people, the Khoesans, the Kwekwe people, the Igalas of this world, the Benins, all of us. It is inside the family. Our lineage at some point is common to all of us. So we're all saying the same story. It's not about trying to push superiority that Yorubas were greater than the Benis or the Igbos, or the Igbos are greater than us. No, at some point we're all together. And these are the things that bind us together. These things that we have passed down from the knowledge of Ifa. Our stories need to be patient for us to connect the dots. We are saying the same thing. We are colored from the same garment, a piece of the same garment. All we need to do is join the garment together.
Igala one is 16, as that of Yoruba is 16. To the Igala man, to the man with a Parafa blood in him, to the man from the original Nigerians, Ifa is cardinal. Directing the breakaway from Juku up to this very point is the act of Ifa. But through whatever you say about Ifa, Ifa is uniform. Pronunciation could differ slightly, but the meaning is the same. Our own Ifa will just tell you what is that. Ifa is the light. The whole world is darkness. Ifa sheds very powerful searchlight into the darkness. It's all over. We're the same people. Ifa is the same.
Original Africans devised the first knowledge database wrongly equated as a religion. known as the African Information Retrieval System, IFA, IHA, AFA. Is based on a binary system divided into 16 divisions that would be further divided. Despite the later language divergence accentuated by foreign colonists in their ploy to divide and rule, African language and culture are basically the same.
Ifa is the ultimate. It is the beginning and the end. It's like the Almighty God pronouncing a judgment. To tell you the power of Ifa, there are two types of Ifa. There is the other one that is tied to shell or the back of something. We throw it. Beat it. Eh? We call it in Igala Awa. I don't know what you call it in Yoruba. We call that one Awa. Throw it. Beat it with something. Recite incantation. Throw the stone. Then another man sitting down, bring the sand. Not sand from anywhere. Sand from a junction or from the river, so that the streets of the river will also contribute. Junction where every dick and harry passes. Both the good and bad spirit will pass, they will get it. Then the man with the other awa will call true. That's the same question. You know that's the same question. You take the stick and talk to it. And whenever I talk to that stick, or whatever, or bone, or whatever it is, the Ifa hears. That's their one. And then if you throw it, the man, the leader of the Awa, and the man with the Ifa on the ground is going to be identical. If there's any deviation or difference from what they are reading, then either one of the two is not reading it correctly. But if the two correct experts, two of them sit, let them sit in two different rooms, let them have the same motion. The answer that comes out of this will be the same that comes out from the other one. This is the Ifa will know. And there's another one with cowrie shells. That is another type of Ifa. The Igala too have it. They try to cowrie shells, put it on the ground. Huh? Okay, they put some mat, woven mat, and then the same thing will come on it. How they lie, how they do this, they will also read it. This is our own Ifa.
Leopard is a very wise animal. A loner, very calculated, smart, and has to do with kingship, leadership. Leopard is an epitome of leadership, and that is common to all of us in Africa. That has been the binding force. We are leaders, natural leaders. We are born leaders. And leopard has to do with kingship. Leopard has to do with fearlessness. And every of our race is linked to it. I cannot do without it in my palace. Most things are made of leopard, and these are all my inheritance. I must keep it. It must be with me in everything I do, in my thoughts, my words, and deeds. So as a result, it's a common thing. We only have artificial boundaries in Africa. When we remove the artificial boundary, we will realize that we're all the same. So it's a common factor amongst all of us.
For the one of leopard, yes, we refer to princes and princesses and sons and daughters of leopard. Leopard is the king of the jungle. You know it. In our tradition, even if you are the best hunter on land, if you kill a leopard, you just bring it home and roast. If you kill a leopard, it's regarded as if you have killed a king. You go and buy clothes, do the burial ceremony of a human being, and bury it. You don't eat leopard.
This time around, we are telling our stories by ourselves. Nobody will tell it for us. to a large extent, the people that brought the Abrahamic religion, they had their agenda. The only thing they could do is to destroy what we were holding in our hands, so that they could penetrate us and cause division, continue to cause division further. They brought guns, they brought sophisticated weapons, and the only way they could do it is to tell one another that we don't like ourselves, so that they can easily sell their weapons to us, and we can use those weapons to destroy ourselves. So it's a strategy. Bringing religion is just to further divide us. Bringing religion is just to further cause more problem for us, so that they can thrive on that disunity. They can thrive from the chaos and chaotic behavior. When we're not united, the house will fall. United we stand, divided we fall. So that has been their strength, the area of strength. They have diplomats, and they are very good at doing it. Causing problem, causing division all over the world. Looking for the weaker vessel, looking for the weaker section of the race, and they will use it to instigate the other, and they derive their strength from them. And they will now play a role of being your brother's keeper to settle the fight. So my point is, it's a decoy. So I won't say we fell for it, unfortunately, but a lot of us are waking up now to bring back the heritage of our ancestors.
I have the greatest pity for any human being who has no identity. Some of the people who are from our own stock here go to places like Ogunwusi, go to places like FCT, some parts, Plateau, Bauchi, and other places. People forcefully turn their mother language into a second-class language and speak the language of the foreigner. How can that person hold his head high? Everything about him, history, everything, is gone with the wind. If they have Ifa, decide to discard it and call it devil language, it's their business. But devil language has led my own ancestors to come and settle here. If that is devil language. And it's spread across all our people who have retained their identity. You know, if you are a human being and you don't have any identity, it is you are neither here nor there. Even if there is no common language, the Ifa is the connecting link between us and all our people. A little, in fact, people should go in and research into it. We will find our commonness in all everything we do about our life. So we are not our identity. So we know ourselves. Lost everything. Even our brothers that were taken across the Atlantic, or even across the Sahara Desert, there is some element of Africanness in them. Search you will find. When some of our people, those who take decision, they've relegated the chief to a background. We lost during the military incursion. They forgot that there were the traditional rulers. When things happen, they run to the traditional rulers to beg for support so that they pacify the people. That does not help matters. You talk of culture, you talk of medicine, you talk of economics, you talk of so many things. All our life, culture is the way how we manage our environment, how we sustain in conquering our environment. That is the whole thing, you know, fused together. That's the essence of the whole culture. Huh? When people and push to the end. Then now, most of them resort to culture. Some of it could be fetish. Some of it could be barbaric or civilized to a certain extent. But take the good ones. They are useful for the society. Chemistry for one is black magic. Even not all, a bit of it, then reality will down on all the other groups. Then gradually we start picking the pieces of our culture. By the time we put them together, we'll see what it has produced, and then we'll marvel at it, and then we'll automatically go back to it.
We are looking for support for our major public awareness programs to enlighten and empower and unite Black African groups, ethno-linguistic groups. Our website is www.ashefoundation.org. Our programs as listed, the first, like I said, is the documentary of all the monarchs to unify, to articulate our cultural and genetic origins. So we request your support for our programs. We're trying to raise $100 million for the documentary and various programs, which include the quiz program and school programs, and to sponsor events that bring us together. Here in Nigeria, with over 300 ethnic groups, even though ethnologue says it's 517 groups in Nigeria. The Niger-Congo ethno-linguistic group is the world's largest. I mean, 2,240 ethno-linguistic groups, which some people call tribes. But they are all related. And we now have DNA evidence and linguistics to show how each group diverged, evolved, and moved on, but still keeping the essence of the original African culture. So we do request your financial, academic, or whatever support you can give to our programs to unify and uplift the core of Black African culture and origins, because it's there that it will break from here to Gambia and South Africa, who belong to the same original indigenous African cultural complex. This is not mythology. This is science that proves what we formerly believed was myth. As you will see from statements made by the OonI of Ife, by the Attah of Igala, that we're all one people. We have a very viable, sustainable information system called IFA, which is now involved into the computer system. We have viable medical practices, which started with Shopono's vaccination, which has now become, or which became the foundation of Western medicine. We have proper political systems before the European period and the Islamists. This is not against anything, it's to improve our work ethic, our interrelationship, and most important, to avoid the scourge of war, normally caused by politicians, desperate politicians who play on ignorance. The average age of Nigerians now is 18, with a population of 200 million. We have youths learning their own history from various sources. We need our cultural custodians, backed with scientists, to articulate and disseminate what binds us together. All we have now is what separates us. The lack of a cultural identity has bred self-hate. And so when a normal African, another African sees another African that speaks another language or from another geography, he hates what he sees. And he believes the negative. This has to be challenged before we can rise. Many of our kings are spiritual, they're priest kings, and there have been so many writings that we have come to a time where if the hidden knowledge is revealed to the black race will ascend and assume parity with other groups. Nobody wants to dominate. There is not a single group that wants to dominate. Yorubas have never ever acted. And this is one of the things that the cultural platform that we have is not to change. It's a platform of freedom, of self-determination. That is what Ifa is. And this is what we need to push through movies, books, films, events, and structures. So we request your support wherever you are in the world. Somebody who wants world peace, who knows the need. I have said this. The only culture that could stop the clash of the so-called clash of civilizations, the Islam versus Christian, is the original African culture, because it was the first. And it is what could explain and pacify this warring civilizations. Until that is done, the world will not be a sustainable place to live. And that is what Ashe Foundation is trying to do, to create a well-articulated original African platform. What are we for? How? And this is why we're making this appeal to all those who wish the black race and even the world peace and progress, cultural justice. And only then, until we have cultural justice across the world, will we have world peace. We will be able to survive the next 2,000 years, especially as resources dwindle. And this is why the oldest monarchs in Africa have come together and put this think tank together and have empowered me as the president to oversee how to articulate or bring this body, apart from the Afro-Asiatic or Arabic or European or all other perspectives except ours. Now we need to push ours in a unified approach, but we need the funds, we need the backing, we need the cooperation to spread this message that we do know where we are, who we are, and where we are going. Ashe's Foundation's sole responsibility and commitment and vision is to provide a well-articulated and accepted original African cultural platform. The understanding, because like I said, according to Dr. Amos, culture is economics, culture is politics. The reason why the black race and Nigeria, the largest black nation, has not found its way economically or politically is because we have lost the culture. Culture is the way we do things. Economics is how we achieve them, the means we achieve them, and politics is how we organize things. So they all involve in a certain perspective. Some people call it binary code, the geography. it's the principle of duality. Africans never get involved in what we call absolute morality. That's the difference between what we call a Eurocentric or Eurasiatic view to the original African view. The original African view always sees both sides, and that's why you have the Ojibwe, which is the beginning of mathematics, of mythology, or the metallurgy, the mining and the use of metals, and every other study, Ifa has it. So, not as a religion, but if Africans could understand their foundations, then even if we're going to adopt or borrow some foreign technology, it will be on a solid foundation of our culture. Now, we believe that within 18 months, we can change the global consciousness, the perception, at least, if anything, to de-escalate the rivalry, the heated discussion, and make sure that our politicians or foreigners cannot exploit those differences. We need to accentuate our common cultural bond, positive. And that's why we in Ashe Foundation are looking for partners, looking for sponsors. You will hear the OonI of Ife, Attah of Igala, and all the others speak to you about this further. For more information, please check www.ashefoundation.org. You will see the numbers and the website on the screen below. Thank you.